I played Black Ops 7 early.
Okay, it's happening.
Yo, what's going on, guys? So, over the past few days, I was in LA. Now, a lot of people had their suspicions as to why I was there. Most people kind of guessed why, and yes, it was because I was playing Black Ops 7 Call of Duty 2025. I've played it now, which is so weird to say. I do want to give a massive thank you to Treyarch and Call of Duty for flying me out there. It's always a great feeling to be able to take part in those experiences, and they always look after us, so a massive thank you to them. Today we are going to be going through absolutely everything that I can tell you, and I will be transparent. There are things that I cannot tell you, but trust me, there's still an endless amount of things to go through, and when I say endless, I mean about campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. But before we do, for Black Ops 7, can we get 7,000 likes on this video? I know you guys can do it, and if you are new around here, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, because you do not want to miss what we have coming. Do it!
Later.
All right, I'm finally in LA. We just got to the hotel. I just got to my hotel room. I think I should show you around real quick, like I usually do. So here is the entrance. Cool. Here we've got the bathroom with a nice little mirror. Yo, what's up? Let's enter the bathroom real quick. I remember last time I had used the toilet before I filmed. This time I had some etiquette. Toilet is unused this time. We've got the shower on the left. Sink action looking really nice. Me again. Yo, what's up? Also, I need to flip this on. Boom. Anyway, if we leave the bathroom, we've got this little door right here. What does this lead to? Oh, let's close that back up. That's fine, because we can actually take a look at the room now. Here's how it looks. We've got the bed on the right. I have my suitcase here, my shoes on the ground. These, by the way, tough, so tough. By the way, if you know, you know. Anyway, we've got the bed looking real comfy. We've also got a TV right here that just so happens to have my name on it. A nice chair at the desk if I want to do some work, if I want to edit. I've got a lounger over here, and we finally have the view, which I mean, it's cool. I can't complain. We can see the highway on the left right here too. Not too bad. But anyway, we're here. It's currently 7:45, almost 8 o'clock p.m. So I need to figure out what I'm going to eat. Tomorrow we haven't got anything to do, but what I do know is a bunch of the US guys are coming in. So we'll link up with those guys and you guys will see that. And then the next day we've got the event where we get all the juicy stuff, and you guys are gonna see all of that in today's video. So make sure you stay tuned. How are we all doing? It's currently 10 a.m. I woke up a couple hours ago, went downstairs and got breakfast. Let me tell you one thing that I hate though. There's something about hotel breakfast times that's just so annoying. I personally like to take the morning slow, but I don't have a choice. I have to get up because breakfast closes at 9, and that's typical. But it's fine. I had breakfast. You guys saw last night that I had In-N-Out and it hit the spot. Every time I come to LA, I have to have it at least 3 times. So right now I'm editing a YouTube video. You guys will have seen this already by the time you're watching this vlog, but working on that. The grind don't stop, of course. By the way, let me just say actually, because it's the morning right now, the view looks way better. So let me show you guys real quick. Hold up. Look at that. We got the highway right there. It looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like the LA sun. But yeah, I've got a banger on the way. As you guys can see, it's actually the org video. So if you guys have seen that, you will know when I was editing it. I was editing it on the plane and we're about to finish it off now. So yeah, I'm gonna keep whipping this up until those guys get here.
The next morning.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Today is event day. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely didn't vlog any of yesterday. I said I was going to, but all I really did was went and got food. Yeah, I know. I mean, realistically, that's what you're supposed to do whilst you're over here. But I'm about to head downstairs for some lunch, and then we're gonna head on a shuttle over to the Treyarch studios, which is exciting. This is the fit we got going on right now. Look at that. Come on now. I mean, I'm putting on these shoes once again, match the fit. You guys can see The blue with the blue. Woo!
Damn.
All right, so I'm here at lunch. I'm here with my boy Rich. Say what's up, Rich.
What's good? What's good?
Come on.
This place is packed, bro.
This place is actually, let me show. For some reason, nobody's here. Literally nobody's here. So we're kind of just eating alone, but I'll take it. We got a bunch of stuff. We got wings, we got French fries, we got sliders, we got everything. We're lit out here, man. So we're just eating whilst we get ready to go. Woo!
Cheese on that?
There's no cheese on that. Never cheese. Never cheese, bro. Never cheese. I'm sure. We're lit right now. So I'm gonna smack this and I'm gonna catch you guys later at the event. So let's get into it. I know I didn't really vlog that much or anywhere near as much as I did last year. I think trying anti-ans kind of put me off.
How's that taste?
Very lemonade-y. Damn! I don't like the smell. Is it buttery? Bro, this might be the worst thing. It's great because I was able to play not only multiplayer, but zombies as well. And we were also able to see some of the campaign. And I've got so much stuff to get through. So let's start with Black Ops 7 itself. So as we all know, it's set in 2035. They said it has cutting edge 2035 combat, which allows them to have new tech, new weapons, new streaks, all of that. And you guys have to think, with Call of Duties that are set in the past, that makes them quite limited in terms of what they can actually do creativity wise, but 2035 allows them to try out a bunch of new things. Now, it was also made alongside Black Ops 6 and they were working on Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 in parallel, and it's set to launch on November 14th, and the beta is expected to start at the start of October, so we've still got a little bit to wait for the actual full game to release, unfortunately. But let's get into the campaign first. So it's a co-op campaign, 1 to 4 players, and of course, even though that's the case, you can go in solo and play by yourself if you want to, but you also have the choice to play with 2 people, 3 people, or even 4 people, which is pretty cool. It's also a direct continuation from Black Ops 2, branching storylines into 2035, and it also pulls story threads from BO6. It has an innovative story with a mind-bending narrative that connects BO2 and BO6. They also described it to be diverse with epic missions, unique locations from the Mediterranean coast of Avalon. Weirdly enough, we can see Avalon right there on the sign. From there to neon-soaked Tokyo to even Mason's fractured psyche, which will make more sense once I get into it a little bit more. They also let us know that the campaign is connected, so it has a global progression system for the first time ever. So if you're playing the campaign, you can level up, earn XP towards your prestige in the same way that you would in multiplayer, in zombies, in Warzone, of course. Campaign for the first time, if you're making progress in there, you'll be earning XP and leveling it up too, which I think is great because realistically, a lot of the time if you play the campaign, you feel like you're wasting time towards leveling up and earning levels towards your prestige, but now you'll actually be making progress, which is great. And you can build your arsenal with skills and abilities for endgame, and endgame is something you should keep an eye out for because we'll get into that later in this video, but it's something new and it's something pretty crazy. So in terms of the actual campaign story itself, obviously it's set in 2035 and they described it as world on the brink. You guys may have seen in some of their promotional videos so far that we've seen those robots, and that's the guild, and the guild is apparently supposed to promise protection, and we haven't really figured out yet whether they're for good or for bad. In the story, you also get exposed to a mind-altering weapon and there's a global threat set in motion. So what we saw in one of the videos, we actually saw one of the build-ups to one of the campaign missions, and we could see that the technology is really advanced to the point where everybody is actually connected to the system. Like you could see in Mason's eyes, I believe, that he was connected to the system in a sense, almost like he had some sort of chip in his brain. But in terms of the characters we've been told about so far, of course, you have David Mason, who is the team leader. You also have Mike Harper, who's like a brother to David. He's the grounding force for him. You then have Eric Samuels, who's a stoic, no-nonsense partner, and he's also the level 1 1000 reward, which also kind of proves that they were working on Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 together, or at least alongside each other, because the whole time the level 1000 reward was a main character for the Black Ops 7 storyline. You then have Leilani, who's also known as 50/50, who has a disease and now is equipped with a cyber arm and leg. You then have Emma Kagan, who is the CEO of the guild and humanity's last line of defense. Oftentimes, philosophy is at odds with Mason and his team. They said it's a linear story, and they also gave us some of the locations that you visit during the campaign. So you have okay, I don't know how to say these. It'll be on screen. Nicaragua, Angola, Tokyo. Then there's a redacted location, Alaska, redacted, Avalon outskirts, and Avalon City. You unlock new abilities as you play, and once you've made your way through the entire campaign, then you get introduced to a whole new experience, otherwise known as Endgame. Endgame allows you to explore Avalon. It's a mode for 1 to 32 players, and it was also described as a very replayable final mission with a bunch of different reasons to play, such as prestiging. Like I said earlier, it's all a connected system, so you can make progress to your levels in there, but also weapon camos and more. And we'll get into more of that later, trust me. They described it as the final proving ground, where all of your campaign progress is tested in a new environment. Unlocks an operator-powered journey as you level up by shutting down guild activities and move into the hardest regions. In there, you're able to upgrade your abilities and upgrade your armor and work your way towards the hardest areas. And of course, initially going in there, you won't be able to access those harder areas, or even if you did, you wouldn't make it very far. So it's something you actually have to work up and build your way through. They described it similar to Modern Warfare Zombies. You guys know how you couldn't really go straight into that center zone, the red zone or orange. Red, right? You couldn't really just go in there bare bones because you would just die. The zombies are too strong. Everything just wouldn't really go very well. So you have to build your way up in the outer areas, and then you can eventually work your way to those. Once you get to endgame, you unlock all operators, loadouts are available, and you can make progress on each operator by leveling them up, and each level provides a new skill choice. There's a new combat rating, and you can upgrade your health, damage, specialization, and I believe there's up to 60 levels, but the catch is if your squad gets wiped, then you lose all progress on your operator. So you literally have to take it seriously, survive, stay alive, and escape. So you deploy into Avalon via a wingsuit, and there's various upgrades like I mentioned earlier, but there's mega jump, there's grapple hook, which we saw, which looks really cool, by the way. A lot of us have always wanted to have a grapple hook, so to see that in the game in one form or another is pretty sick, and hopefully it transfers over to other modes, who knows? There's active camo, there's a war machine, there's a deployable shield, you can deploy a kit with several drones that attack. And when I mentioned earlier that Mason seemed connected to robots in a sense, almost like he had a chip in his brain, that's known as the C-Link. Now the C-Link keeps the players connected even during the hallucination. So what we saw as part of Endgame was a mission where everybody is pretty much hallucinating, but because everybody is connected via the C-Link, then it kind of looks real because everybody is experiencing the same thing. And that's where, from that initial trailer that we had of Black Ops 7, we saw the giant machetes falling from the sky and all of these crazy things happening. You can pick up the mega jump and then jump from island to island. That's all part of the hallucination. But because they're all experiencing that at the same time, it feels real. And you saw them all confused about what was going on, but because they were experiencing it together, it felt real. And that's pretty much it for the campaign. Of course, but we all know this by now, Menendez is back. We actually saw part of a campaign mission where Mason is walking through a gravesite and was at Frank Woods' gravestone, and you could see what he was going through mentally looking at that. And then they pretty much get the call up to go into that next mission with someone who's supposed to be Menendez, similar to Menendez, and that's where we were kind of introduced to the rest of the team. But let's get into zombies. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for multiplayer, but I've got to save that for last because there's some good stuff, crazy stuff if I do say so myself, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But zombies, bear in mind, of course, I played multiplayer and zombies, so not just multiplayer this time, which is pretty cool. Zombies, we have the new version of the original crew, and the map that they described to us is the biggest zombies map ever, but they made sure to clarify that it's not just in size, but it's also in intent. So obviously not only is it going to be a big zombies map, but it's going to be big in general. general. I don't know what that means, maybe in terms of storyline, in terms of Easter eggs, in terms of things in the map that just make it bigger. I don't know. So they said that the map is Black Ops 2 transit inspired. And if you guys remember that map, you had a bus that you could navigate through the map with, and there were various different areas on the map that you could get to using the bus, but they were all separated with this fog that you just didn't really want to go in. One, because it was scary, but two, you couldn't really survive in there for that long. But that's what this map is inspired by. So you can imagine a pretty similar thing. I don't know about a bus, but what they did show us was a wonder vehicle. Now, a wonder vehicle is pretty much exactly what you would think. And they showed us an image of it. And from what I could see, it was like a big, almost army sort of vehicle. But at the front of it, it had the abomination eyes, like 3 of them along the front, almost as if they were headlights. You could see almost a dark ether kind of look on it as well. Just imagine a very zombies inspired vehicle, and you could see all of the characters on it too. Pretty cool. But they said you could use that to navigate around the map. I don't know if that will be the main form of transportation, but they said this is the 3rd iteration of the original crew, and everything that happened before is canon. And there's 8 zombie operators now. So of course you've got the 4 that we were introduced with in Black Ops 6, I believe, but then also the 4 original crew. We kind of saw that teased at the end of The Reckoning. I haven't played it yet, but I did see the end cutscene where you see the original operators from zombies back in the day, but you also see our crew that we have now from Black Ops 6, and they kind of interact with each other from what I thought to be the first time. All of these characters can be played and interact with each other in Black Ops 7. They all have voice lines that go back and forth and stuff like that. So they also gave us more details of the first round-based zombies map, and they said it had Bermuda Triangle vibes. You have to stick together for the most part, and that's similar to Transit in a sense. You didn't really want to go off solo somewhere because you'd be kind of left alone for a while, and this has those similar characteristics to it. One of the locations on the map is Farm, and between that there's a bunch of transitional areas where, similar to Transit, it's fog and it's really deadly, so you do not want to be in there for very long at all. But there's also different paths to each location, so nothing's the same. You could go one way to get somewhere and then try another way, and it's not going to be the same. And there's also going to be survival maps. So if you guys remember in Black Ops 2, of course we had Transit, but then we had the smaller versions of that same map, which were essentially just taking the different locations from Transit and making them their own standalone map. They will be releasing through the seasons as well, but of course, as we know, Farm is one of them and is the only one that they've actually revealed so far. But I guess you can kind of imagine the vibes of the rest of the locations, when one of the locations is a farm and there's fog in between the rest of the locations. You know, it's definitely Transit vibes for sure. Not only that, but Dead Ops Arcade returns too, and that also supports the global progression system. So in Dead Ops Arcade, you could also rank up, earn prestige levels, and all of that different stuff. So I assume you're probably going to see a lot more people playing that as well, because, you know, usually it's its own standalone thing that, you know, if you play it, you play it. But most people kind of leave it alone after a few tries. But now the fact that you can actually earn levels and rank up through it, there may be some reason to play that in comparison to some of the other modes. Maybe it's easier to get XP in there. Who knows? I would assume they would try and make it as balanced as possible, but there always ends up being a mode that's typically better for ranking up or whatever you're trying to do than others. And it could be that. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to get into multiplayer. And also, whilst I'm getting into multiplayer, there will be other things that will kind of link to the other modes as well, such as camos. I know a lot of you guys will be thinking about mastery camos and whether there's mastery camos in zombies, and yeah, I'll get into that in a second, trust me. But let's get into multiplayer. This is where it gets juicy, ladies and gentlemen. So there are camos in all modes, so not just multiplayer, not just zombies, not just, of course, Warzone. We didn't really hear anything about Warzone in this event, but that's a given. But now we're also going to be getting camos in the campaign. I assume that's going to be linked to the end game in a certain way, but for us to be getting camos in all 4 of the modes is kind of crazy. All modes will also have daily challenges, reticle challenges, and even seasonal events. Thankfully, since this game was being worked on alongside Black Ops 6, off rip, we're gonna have the camo hub, camo tracking, which, man, I'm so thankful for, because I feel like half the time we get that like a couple seasons into the game rather than straight away. And by that time, I've already finished most of the camo grind, so it's going to be nice to have the whole camo hub and camo tracking straight away. But listen, this is where it gets kind of crazy, and trust me, when I heard this, I almost shed a tear. Weekly challenges are back. Come on! You guys know in Modern Warfare 3 how we had the weekly challenge system where we got new aftermarket parts every single week. We didn't get that in Black Ops 6 for whatever reason, but it's back in Black Ops 7 and it's similar to what we had in Modern Warfare 3. I also did ask a question about it because they had a Q&A where we could ask questions to get further details of some of the things that they said. And I asked, is it similar to Modern Warfare 3? And each week will we get a conversion kit? How will that work? And they said, yeah, it is similar to Modern Warfare 3. We will be getting conversion kits, you know, attachments, but also, do you guys remember how on the 8th week of the weekly challenges in a season, we would get a camo? Well, this time it's kind of one-upped because not only do we get a camo at the end, but we also get a camo halfway through. Woo! So that's another extra camo. We don't have to wait until the end of a season for week 8 to get the camo. There's also going to be one halfway through, I guess, to kind of make sure that you're keeping up with the weekly challenges. Listen, that system being back is one of the biggest things in my opinion. That's what kind of helped Modern Warfare 3 last throughout the entire year, just giving us fresh content each and every week. And to see that back, that makes me happy. Back to the camos though, they did describe that there's 16 mastery camos, which makes sense in my head because 4 in multiplayer, you know, you have the gold, diamond, whatever the next one is and whatever the final one is. Then you have the same thing in zombies, you have the same thing in Warzone, and then now you have the same thing in the campaign. And they didn't show us all of the camos. However, they showed us one of them, and they showed us multiplayer gold. And multiplayer gold, I have to say, looks beautiful. And there is a very specific reason as to why they showed it us. I thought, oh, you're just gonna show us gold? I mean, that's nothing special, right? It's called Shattered Gold, right? Shattered Gold. And it basically looks like it has cracks all the way through it. Imagine the gold is glass and it just has, you know, the cracks going all the way around the weapon. But then I remembered we just got this blueprint for completing an Easter egg in... Oh my goodness. We just got this blueprint for completing an Easter egg in Black Ops 6. And look at this blueprint. It's literally shattered gold. I think this is the reason that they gave it us, and I don't know if this is going to be the theme for the rest of the multiplayer camos because I haven't seen them. All I've seen is gold, but this putting gold on top of that blueprint makes it look exactly like it, although the actual cracks through it aren't blue, they're just, you know, black regular crack. But this is pretty much exactly it. Just imagine those blue lines were black. What? So I think this is a little sneak peek as to what we were going to see in Black Ops 7. And it just so happens that I've seen it already to even put 2 and 2 together. So I can only assume that the rest of the mastery camos, at least for multiplayer, are going to be similar. Maybe we'll get a shattered diamond. Maybe we'll get, I don't know how the rest will work. I even don't know how dark matter is going to work because it can't be the same dark matter as what we had in Black Ops 6. So I'm assuming maybe they will add the dark matter ultra as the final camo. You know, the final dark matter that we had in Black Ops Cold War. Maybe they'll do that just to switch it up but still keep it dark matter, but that's just a guess. Also, another crazy thing that they've added is weapon build sharing. Now this changes absolutely everything, and this is something that everybody got hyped about when they first told us. So basically what weapon build sharing is, it makes it easier for you to share your builds, whether it's with friends or people online. So you can send your builds directly to your friends, and there's a build code. So there will be a build code that you can send to people, and when they put that in, it will give them that same class that you've built, which again changes everything, especially for content creators, because we always get asked what our class was and stuff like that, and there's times we forget the class or, you know, just don't want to say it over and over again. But now having the code, we can literally give you guys the code and it will give you the class. You guys can even do that with friends, so rather than, you know, saying the individual attachments, which takes a while, now you can just give them the code and it will give them the class. Perfect. Even if you take screenshots, the screenshot will show the code on it too. So you'll be able to save screenshots, send it to people, and it will have the code that they can input and use straight away. That's massive. That's a massive change, and hopefully it works well. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, there's another massive thing. Hey, they've been cooking, trust me. So of course it has the classic prestige system like what we saw in Black Ops 6, which is great, but it also has weapon prestiges. Now, we saw something kind of similar in Modern Warfare 3 where we had the weapon prestige
prestige camos, but you couldn't actually prestige the weapon. You were just earning a certain amount of XP and then you unlocked a camo. Now you can actually prestige the weapon similar to how you could in the past. I can't remember the last Call of Duty that had the weapon prestiges, but yeah, we've had that before, but the way this system is working is not like we've had before. So when you hit the max level on a weapon, you have the choice to prestige, but not only that, when you do prestige, prestiging unlocks a camo. What? You guys should have seen my face every time they mentioned a camo in this presentation. Prestiging unlocks a camo. It also unlocks a unique attachment. So whether that's a conversion kit or an attachment that is unique to the weapon. So let's say like this, you work your way through the weapon levels, you get to level 50, which is the max weapon level, because it goes 1 to 50 in this game. You hit 50 prestige and you get a weapon camo. They describe the weapon camos to be like solid camos because apparently everybody loves those. So you get a camo for hitting prestige 1 for a weapon, then you work your way all the way up to prestige 1 level 50 so you can enter prestige 2. You enter prestige 2, you get a unique attachment, whether it's a conversion kit or just a special attachment for that weapon. Then after 2 prestiges, you can get all the way to weapon level 250, which is the weapon master prestige. Yes, the weapons have master prestige, which is insane. And once you hit weapon master prestige, you then get a crazy camo. They described it as a hot camo. I don't know whether that's because it's going to be lava or anything like that, or whether they're using the word hot as in it's, you know, it's just a crazy camo. But either way, there's 2 camos to unlock with a weapon during prestiging it. You get one for the first prestige, and then you get another one, which is way crazier for hitting master prestige on the weapon, which is so insane. It's only what we've pretty much been asking for forever, and that kind of grind would probably carry you through for the whole year, pretty much. Imagine having to prestige a weapon twice and then having to get it to level 250 each weapon, and you'll want to do it for each weapon because you'll want that crazy camo. And this is on top of, you know, the regular mastery grind with the regular mastery camos, and not even that, also on top of the weekly challenge camos, the one you get halfway through and the one that you get at the end. Absolutely insane. For all of you camo lovers like me, this is seemingly going to be a great year for them. Obviously, we're going to be getting events and stuff like that on top of that, and since they're putting a main focus on camos similar to how they did in Modern Warfare 3, I can only imagine that the event rewards will probably be camos too, or at least have way more of a focus than what this game did. There's still a lot more to get through, by the way, but can I just say that I pretty much predicted this. I said for a while that Black Ops 7 is pretty much going to be what Modern Warfare 3 was to Modern Warfare 2. We felt kind of starved in Modern Warfare 2. We got Modern Warfare 3 and they just gave us so much post-launch content, or so much content that we can grind throughout the entire year, and it seems like that's what Black Ops 7 is going to be to Black Ops 6. I'm just saying. They also described the movement that we're going to be seeing in Black Ops 7, and it's slightly different to what we have in Black Ops 6. They described it as next level Omnimovement, which you might be thinking, how can Omnimovement get crazier? Omnimovement is already pretty crazy as far as regular movement goes, but next level Omnimovement allows you to wall jump, which adds a whole new level to traversal and engagement opportunities. Not only that, but the maps are purpose built for them, and we'll get into what maps we're getting because I know all of them. Some of them you'll be very happy to see. Also, I am going to get into the weapons as well, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But yeah, the maps are purpose built for them, so as much as I can't describe what I played, the maps being built for them, you can only imagine there's going to be places that you can wall jump off of. There's going to be places where you can fall off of the map, but if you jump off the wall and then back onto the ground, you can work it that way. And there's going to be areas on the map that are pretty much built for that, so you have to jump off of a wall to even make it across that lane. You can also combat roll, which isn't in regular 6v6, so it's not really a multiplayer thing. You can do it in co-op campaign, and also the new mode, which I'll get into in a second. Not only that though, you can move whilst mounted. Now, I never really mount in general, but you'll be able to move whilst mounted, so side to side. I swear one of the Call of Duties we've had recently had that too though. In terms of combat updates, there's new perks for faster movement, quicker recovery. There's no tac sprint by default, so you guys know you can run as usual and then you hit that next level of sprint, which is a little bit faster, tac sprint. However, that's not in the game by default, so you won't have that. But what they did is basically increase the regular base sprint speed so that the game doesn't feel slow. They just up the base speed so you don't really feel like you need tac sprint. But on top of that though, what they did for those people that do still want have that extra little bit of speed, even though the base speed is already a little bit faster. Just to get it to that next level, there's a perk that allows you to tack sprint. So tack sprint isn't there by default, it's there via a perk if you want it. We already had a perk like that in this game, which was pretty much gearing us towards that perk slipstream. So imagine slipstream having that as a regular, so your base sprint speed is faster than usual anyway, so you don't really feel like you have to tack sprint. But then imagine having another perk that allows you to tack sprint if you want to. There's also no aim down sights while sliding, diving, or wall jumping, but you can also opt into that via a perk as well. So some of the things that they've taken away, you can put a perk on to kind of counteract. Now, in terms of the weapons that we're getting in Black Ops 7, this is where it gets pretty interesting. So first of all, we get the Peacekeeper MK1. The Peacekeeper we all know from Black Ops 2. It was actually the original DLC weapon. That's the first DLC weapon we ever had. And from what we saw, it actually looks very similar to it too. They said it's back and better though. We're also getting the M8A1. Crazy. The M8A1 is also another iconic weapon. It's the 4-round burst. So good. At least it was in every game that it got added to. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, crazy. It's a marksman rifle in Black Ops 7 though, which is interesting. We also get a pistol called Orion. We get the VS Recon, which is a sniper, and it's inspired by the DS50, the iconic sniper from Black Ops 2. Obviously, you can imagine this game is a little bit more in the future, so some of these weapons will be adjusted and look different in that way. You've got the Echo 12, which is a shotgun, dual action and dual barrel. The Eagle AR, which is like the Rampart from Black Ops 4. You've got the Puma SMG, which is PDW inspired, and that's exactly what they said. PDW, such an iconic weapon from Black Ops 2. I loved it, and I'm hoping it feels similar to it because, woo! The MK78 LMG, the Polis launcher, and the Shock Baton melee, and that's all the weapons they actually gave us the names to. In the videos though, I did see almost like a MOG shotgun kind of weapon. There was also like a KN94 or KN44, whatever it's called, KN57. I swear it's had so many different names, but there was a weapon that looked kind of similar to that in one of the videos that they showed us. However, what is important to know is that there's 16 new weapons in the game, and when I say new, I mean weapons that we've never seen before. And there's also 30 weapons being added into Black Ops 7. So imagine Black Ops 7 has 30 weapons, and 16 of them we've never seen before. They're not inspired by other weapons, we've just never seen them. Totally unique, not from any past Call of Duty, which I think is great because as of late, I feel like we've kind of relied on the nostalgia of some of the recent CODs or way back when CODs, and to have 16 unique weapons, which is more than 50% of the weapons we're actually getting in Black Ops 7, I think that's good. It almost gives us something new and something that we don't expect every time we try one of those new weapons. They describe multiplayer as a future power fantasy with 2035 weapons and gear. They also describe multiplayer to be Black Ops 2 evolved. So if you guys played Black Ops 2, I'm assuming that you'll be happy with that, with iconic BO2 gameplay and content reimagined. By the way, I'm just waffling about Black Ops 7 and we're getting absolutely destroyed because of it. There's also a new overclock system that allows you to upgrade your score streaks, equipment, field upgrades over time, so you can earn gameplay improvements and altered functionality. They also said it has depth but not complexity, and it's also simple to play and progress, which is good in my books. They gave an example for active camo. So one of the overclocks, overclock 1, is the recharge speed, so you'll be able to, you know, use it a little bit quicker, but overclock 2 for it is being able to recloak after firing. So I would assume without that option on, if you shot, then you won't have active camo anymore. But if you do have it on, even after you shoot, you will recloak for however long the active camo is left for. The upgrade system, from what they showed us, kind of reminds me of what we had in Infinite Warfare. There's also changes to combat specialties. So you guys know in this game, if you use 3 perks of the same color, you get a specialty. For all green, you get strategist, and those specialties basically give you a bonus. So strategist allows you to earn more score from teammates hopping on objectives. However, what they described to us was they noticed that people don't necessarily only fit into those 3 specialties. So people have different play styles that don't necessarily work alongside whatever whichever color. And of course, people do want to match the colors in order to get the bonus because it feels like a waste without it. But it almost limits some people's play styles because they're forced to play in a way that they wouldn't really want to. And that's why they've added 3 new hybrid specialties, which means there's now 6 total specialties. And what they've done is basically made it so if you equip 2 of the same color, then you also get a specialty. Now, it's not going to be as big of a specialty as what it would be if you were using all 3 of the same color in perk 1, perk 2, and perk 3. But they've added 3 new variations. So as long as you're using 2 of the same color, then you'll get a specialty and you'll get a bonus. Again, it might not be as crazy, but at least you're getting something for the actual package that you're using. So you have to equip 2 perks of the same play style to unlock a bonus. We have new perks, and there's also a network shared buff for your teammates. Remember how I said everybody is connected via this C-link in the campaign? Well, it also kind of works in multiplayer, and that's the way they've gone about it with some of the perks. And there's some pretty cool perks that we're getting. We have Looper, which allows you to loop score streaks. You guys know how back in the day you could earn a set of streaks, and if you kept going on that streaks, you would earn them again and again and again. Recently, in the recent Call of Duties, you haven't been able to do that. You earn 1 set of streaks and you would have to die in order to earn them again. But now there's going to be a perk to allow you to do that, which in my opinion is beautiful. I could see people using perk greed, using a full set of 3 streaks, but then having perk greed to allow you to put on that looper perk and loop your score streak. There's the tac sprint perk, there's an agility perk, which is basically lightweight, there's gung ho, there's overwatch, which is for a support player, earn bonus score from bullet kills after assists, and also scouts, which is hidden from the minimap and compass. I mean, I guess that's pretty much ghost. Now, talking about perks, another crazy thing that they've added, which a lot of people have asked for but weren't really expecting in Black Ops 7, is specialist bonus. Now, specialist bonus, for those of you guys that don't know what it is, we've seen it in the past before. I don't know if we've ever seen it in a Treyarch Call of Duty though, to be honest, but basically it replaces your score streaks and allows you to earn perks instead. So at 200 score, you would earn a perk, at 400 score, you would earn a perk, and at 600 score, you would earn a perk. And then once you get to 1200 score in the same life, you'll then have specialist bonus, which gives you all of the perks, which if you don't feel like running around and earning score streaks and using score streaks, you can run around as a super soldier if you go on a streak, which is also really fun as well. It feels totally different. You just feel insane running around the map. I think that's a great addition. In terms of some of the gear and gadgets, you know, score streaks and stuff like that, we have the dog, or the DAWG, which is a robot dog. You call it in, it kind of patrols near you, or I guess you can send it off to just go and attack people. You have the traditional RCXD, of course. You also have the Gravemaker. Now, the Gravemaker is quite a unique score streak, at least from what I saw, and basically what it does is it puts a barrel into a sniper, right? And that barrel basically gives you some sort of wall hacks. It gives you access to be able to see people through the walls. It also turns the weapon into a charge shot. Pretty interesting. You've got the Skewer, which is a Hellstorm. You've got Rhino, which is a controllable mech. A massive robot falls from the sky and you control it. You've got HKD, which is basically Black Ops 7's version of attack dogs. And as you can imagine, since this game is set in the future, 2035, then it's probably going to feel more like the Raps that we saw in Black Ops 3. You've got the VTOL warship, which is they described similar to the BO2 version, but bigger and better. You've got the Interceptors, which is, you know, pretty much the air patrol. And you also have the UAV, counter UAV, and they didn't confirm this, but someone asked and they said maybe the orbital VSAT, which I really hope they have. Surely they don't miss out on that. They also went into detail on a new mode that they're adding into multiplayer, which is 20 versus 20, and it's called Skirmish. So it's 4-player squads on teams of 20 versus 20 with a variety of different objectives. It has a high energy of play. It has grapples. It has different vehicles. It has the wingsuits. Almost imagine Ground War from Modern Warfare 2019. You know, a big part of what ended up being Verdansk, but this time a big part of Avalon, and it's wingsuits rather than a parachute. There's grapple hook, but all of that provides options for traversing and different combat options too. Here's another exciting thing though, the maps, and I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for that, especially with all of the Black Ops 2 vibes that I've been talking about so far. What maps are we going to get? Now, there's 16 maps at launch, and those are Raid from Black Ops 2. That is what we're seeing in Black Ops 7. Beautiful. We've also got Hijacked, which of course is another very iconic map from Black Ops 2. We're also getting Express, which is the map with the train on it. I don't know if we've seen that map come back in the past. Maybe we have. Either way, it's coming back. And you guys have to remember that these maps are purpose built for the new movement, or at least the wall jumping. So just expect some random walls that you can jump on. Do you guys remember when they added Nuketown into Black Ops 3 and you could wall run all the way up here and they made it so you could do that? I'm assuming there's going to be some areas like that in these new maps where you can wall jump. And the way the wall jumping works is you can jump from one wall to another, by the way. I don't know if there's a limit on it. Maybe it's 2. Anyway, you've got a map called The Forge. You've got Toshin, which is a map in Tokyo. You've got Cortex. You've got Scar. You've got Den. You've got Homestead. You've got Colossus, Imprint, Dry Dock, Retrieval, you've got Black Heart, and you've also got Paranoia. And they are all 16 maps that we're getting in Black Ops 7. So yes, we are getting some, you know, Black Ops 2 maps, but that's not all of them. Only a few of them, which is good again. So we're getting a lot of unique maps. That's different to what we had with Modern Warfare 3, because in that game, all of the maps were from the original Modern Warfare 2. But this time, we're only getting a few of them. And I would imagine that down the line in the new seasons, a lot of the maps that we will get will be from Black Ops 2. That would only make sense and people will be excited about that. But yeah, honestly, I'm so excited for all of it. Multiplayer sounds like it's going to be an absolute W. You guys have to think about it. We're getting some Black Ops 2 maps. We're getting weapon prestiges that have rewards such as camos and unique attachments. We're also getting weekly challenges back with conversion kits and also even more camos. We're getting another mastery grind in the campaign. We're also getting a bunch of crazy weapons. We're getting insane score streaks to kind of match the feel of Black Ops 2. There's just so much, all on top of all of the original stuff anyway. You know, the regular mastery grinds for all of the modes, all of this crazy stuff, all on top of the events that we're going to be getting. What I got from all of this is that they're putting a real focus into literally what we wanted all along, which is camos, rewards, something to work on for the entire year, just stuff like that. They're starting to realize that, you know, the mastery grinds, people are kind of used to those in the sense that people are starting to be able to complete them quicker and quicker. So what is going to make it last for the entire year? Weekly challenges, conversion kits, weapon prestiges, perfect. And also mastery weapon prestiges and that final reward too, cherry on top. Oh yeah, how could I forget the weapon builds and the weapon codes? There's just so much. Again, I've played Black Ops 7 and as much as I can't say much about that, today, the day that I can actually upload this video, is also the reveal of Black Ops 7, the actual multiplayer game reveal. So I assume you guys will have been able to see some of Black Ops 7. And of course, after hearing everything that I had to say, please let me know what you think. Are you excited after seeing it and hearing everything that I had to say? I would find it difficult to believe that you're not. At least if you're a fan of the content that I make, because we were thriving during Modern Warfare 3 and this seems like that on steroids. Come on. So how could I not be excited for that? Also, I forgot to mention that XP tokens and stuff like that carry forward, which I guess is good to know. So if I were you, I would probably save the tokens you have now for that next game, just to give you a little advantage off the start. But if you guys do feel like I missed something or want me to go into more detail on certain things, then definitely let me know in the comments down below and I'll be replying to all of you guys. Well, as many as I can. But yeah, Black Ops 7, I've played it. It launches November 14th. The beta in early October. I'm excited, man. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you guys in the next one.